We can pull that out.
I'll get it.
We can put it right here for show. So smoked catfish terrain is a very easy dish to do, something that can be done a day ahead of time, especially if you're looking at upscaling your cold fish bar with something that's cheap. You can use catfish, you can use different types of fish for the presentation. So the very first part is you have to marinate your catfish. So your catfish, traditionally for something like this, you want to try to marinate it for about 30 minutes. Here I got about 10 fillets, and I had very nice catfish molds that in our casino world has came up missing. So I unfortunately had to change my game plan, and what I've done is I did it in a bundt cake pan, which is can be easily found in any market, any supermarket or a restaurant warehouse store. The first thing is I marinated in olive oil, red wine vinegar, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of hot sauce.
Louisiana?
Very much so. Never settle for anything else.
Louisiana.
Never settle for anything else. A little bit of oregano. And then salt and pepper. And you're gonna let this sit, like I said, for about a half an hour, so the catfish can absorb that vinegar flavor. And traditionally, I'll toss it really good, and I'll just leave it out to warm marinade. And then after the warm marinade, I stick it in the smoker, or if you do not have a smoker, you can bake it in the oven, and then it comes out like this. And then you let it, thank you, and then you let it cool down enough so you can actually do the molding process. So one of the most important, can I get some water in there, please? One of the most important parts of doing any kind of terrain, especially with a cooked product, is you bloom your gelatin sheets. Okay, so gelatin sheets usually follow the same process no matter how you use it. You're going to set it in ice cold water and you're going to let it soften. And once it softens, you're going to dissolve it in water. So once, traditionally to do about 10 catfish, or to do one mold aspect, I use about 20 sheets. But for our purposes here, I'm just going to do 5 or 10. And then you just let that sit, just roll it around. And you're just going to let that sit until it starts to dissolve for you. So I need one more bowl. I'm sorry, I'm missing one bowl. And as the catfish sets, like I said, you can do it in a smoker, which smoker will give you that intense flavor. But if you can't, a little bit of liquid smoke will cheat the process for you. So once you get your catfish done, you got to cool down. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put the mix together. Okay, the mix is about a cup of mayo, about a half a cup of sour cream, lemon juice. Thank you, sir. The recipe is built that this mix is done in bulk because the recipe is designed to be used constantly. So we make enough to do you know, several sets of terrain. I just put this stuff together real nicely. A little lemon juice. You want to give it a nice acidicness to it. Minced crushed garlic. A little bit of Worcester. A little bit of dry sherry. And because I baked this, I'm going to add a touch of smoke, and you got to be careful. The smoke can get overpowering very easily. And then a little salt and pepper again, because this is going to be your only flavoring base besides what's on the catfish in this mix here. So you want to make sure you got enough salt and pepper in there. And I'll go ahead and get this mixed up. And then the last thing I throw into this mix here is, once again, a little more hot sauce. Louisiana states that you can't have enough hot sauce in it. Hot sauce does two things for you. It gives you that kick, and it gives you the color you're looking for, that nice, kind of like off-white color that we got there. All right. So the next thing that I do is I will take my catfish and actually use this. And why did I do that? Alright, okay, we're going to repeat that. Okay, I did. I need a little more water, please. So, what you're doing here, you're just crushing the catfish into your mix. Another way to do it is that you can do your catfish into a bowl and add your mix in a little bit. I've made this mix to incorporate the catfish we have. Once I have the catfish all mixed up, I'm going to fold it. I like doing this by hand, and if we were eating this, I'd be wearing gloves, because I can feel the texture and the consistency, and I may have to add a little more liquid to it or not. And I finish crushing up my my catfish. I don't want big chunks because I want to be able to cut this with a knife. You don't want it too loose because I'm going to be adding in gelatin to it, but you don't want it too dry because that's where your flavor is. That's where the aspect is going to hold together for you. The last thing I'm going to add to this is going to be the red and yellow peppers. And I add this in instead of a lot of the recipes that you find for an aspect tells you to add it in with the liquid. I like adding it in at the end so I can make sure I got the right color to it.
Is that parsley or green onion?
This is a parsley. I'll just continue folding it. Make sure I got enough color to it and I have the desired consistency that I'm looking for. At this point, we would want to taste for flake seasoning. See if you have to add in any more salt or pepper to it. But about, this is the mixture you're looking for, so it's not too wet, it's not too dry. It will allow the gelatin to absorb into it, and then, let me go wash my hands real quick, guys, and I'll finish this up. I'm gonna put this to the side, and then my and I just need enough heat and you gotta add, you gotta make sure you have enough water so the gelatin will be able to absorb into it. One thing I'm looking for here is that just the gelatin completely melts. The more sheets you use, the more water you're going to need. The last thing you want is to have so little water to it that it immediately congels on you. And you don't eat too much water, and you won't have the staying effect like the mold is holding here. You won't be able to have that if it's too much water, too little water. And that's all I'm looking for. Nice, smooth, kind of dripping off the back of a spoon consistency. And here, just fold in the gelatin. If you had a nice fish mold, then you could garnish the mold with black olives for eyes, roasted red peppers for gills, and have a nice some roasted yellow pepper for the tail and for the gills on there. But unfortunately, I did not find mine, so the bunt pan will have to work.
Yes, sir.
This is about the consistency I need it to be. Don't want it, once again, too loose, then you lose your flavor. Not enough, and it won't hold when you try to take it out of the pan. And the next thing I do is I will season my pan. Once it's evened out, I'll take this and I'll put this in the freezer and let it set, or if I'm making this for the next day, I'll cover it and I'll put it into the walk-in. A good hour in the freezer and it's completely ready to go overnight, and you can unearth it. To unearth it, especially in the plastic gelatin, I did not have a problem taking it out without putting it in water, but for the bunt pan, a little hot water around or putting it under like a double boiler will take it, allow the sides to come out, and then you just unearth it and garnish it like you want to. I have a
So
little
literally, just to kind of so they understand, you just flip that platter on top of the bunt pan and then
and just
invert it.
unearth it.
Right.
But I sat this in the double boiler until I started seeing the sides start coming up. Yep, and then unearthed it, and then garnished it with some flowers, some colored mayo, red and green colored mayo around, and it's good to go.
And you can make these individual as well, right?
Yeah, you can do little tiny fun pans if you want. If you have silicone pads, you can fill those up, clam shapes or little fish shapes or whatever ones you can find. Just smear the mixture in there and even it out. put it in the cooler, and you're good to go. All right, guys, and that is the smoked catfish terrine. All
And
right.
for anybody that wants to know, it's really great on crackers
Yes.
and crostinis. Awesome.
Yeah, traditionally I would come back and I would put crostinis around it or some Melba toast.
He always leaves extra in the bowl when he does it like in the bakery. So it's like my dinner. I always take it and I set it aside and I grab crostinis or crackers and that's dinner.
Guys, with that is the smoked catfish. Real easy. Any questions? No?
I would like to see it.
So easy peasy, and once then something that can be done ahead of time and gives you some nice variety to your cold seafood display. I've used this dish several times, especially when I have to do a lot of shrimp cocktail and crab claws and stuff like that. This gives you another variety to add to that buffet line. All right, thank y'all.
All right.